Hello and welcome to today's free trading video and market analysis. I'm your host, Kenny, Senior Research Analyst with the MiniAnalyst.com. First thing we're looking at is a chart of the market. This is the Mini S&P 500 futures contract front month. Bit of a neutral divergence we're seeing here in the market. We do have a market that's up around 15 points on the day, but certainly extreme bearishness we're seeing. This is our proprietary indicator. Red obviously meaning bearish. We did see some heavy selling on this. We had 3 out of 4 indicators on the bear side on Monday. Had some heavy selling on Tuesday. Coming into Tuesday, we get a gap lower. Market started to bottom out, though. We did have a double bottom. We did have continued bearishness on Tuesday. Wednesday, things started to get a little choppy, both in terms of the trend flattening out, price trying to bottom, extreme wild moves, and choppiness in our indicators, still suggesting the bearishness here on this third indicator. We did have bullishness, however, on Thursday, and what do we get? We got a market that opened near its low and closed in the upper echelon of the day's trading range. So we did follow that one as being bullish, and of course matched with this divergence here. Full bullishness there, arguable bullishness there, albeit a little bit choppy. But here today we have full bullishness, still green for bullish down here, but that's a pretty interesting extreme sell setup, sell indication right here. But 3 out of 4 suggests bulls. We're going to look at the daily chart here in a second to see that it might not be as interesting for the bulls as they might have it. We do have the 1295 1300 level that we've mentioned many times as very psychological, technical, and horizontal resistance. Came to a high of today of 1294 in the contract, and we don't know if that's going to break through or not. Probably not, based on these indications that we're seeing. Came to a high of almost 95. We're back at 90 right now. The market is, however, up, so we'll just see where the rest of the day goes. We're going to go ahead and switch over to look at the daily chart, which is a little more interesting. Bring that over for you. So there we have the daily chart, and what's very interesting, we have mentioned this ascending wedge going up against this horizontal level of support resistance around, we'll call it 1280 to 1300. So we did have this ascension. We did have an attempt, at least, at a breakout to a newer high above our very key measure of trend following support resistance in this blue line, converging all around 1295 to 1300. We got an ET sell signal on this day. That's our fib retracement, which is also very interesting. It happens to come into the 50. Very influential measure of support resistance from a fib perspective. So just definitely an amazing amount of resistance developing right around the 1300 level. So what's happening? We did get this move lower on Monday. We did get this sell-off lower to follow through after printing a lower high following the ET sell signal. So we essentially had the ET sell signal last week, the rollover move trying to get back above, so the resultant lower high to break back below and confirm our continued bearish bias on an official basis. So we have remained officially bearish on the market, I guess, since about 1377 was the call, although we have mentioned you definitely wanted to take some profits right around here at about the 100-point mark. And since then, we've just essentially been chopping around from 1280 when we mentioned that you should probably take some profits, 1270 for 100 points. So where are we now? 1290. But what's interesting is we do have this trend of the ascending wedge, and we're now just retesting the underside of it. So just like we tried to break through the horizontal support resistance of 1300, matched with the trend around 1295, the very key measure of trend, and we did print the rollover move after retesting that. We've now broken the trend, gone a little lower to around 1260, and now we're back up, just simply retesting again a very key measure of trend following support resistance, as well as a horizontal level of 1300. We're at 1290. We'll call it a mini support resistance band from 1290 to 1300, and we're retesting the underside of the trend. So definitely a good selling opportunity for the bears to sell into some of this strength. Given the very neutral market environment that we've seen, most notably in our indicators as well here on the daily, as we have short-term neutral momentum, intermediate-term neutral momentum, short-term neutral directional movement, as well as intermediate-term movement. And of course, as we mentioned, the ATR began to roll over and flatten out, which was very good for our portfolios. And as you can see in the numbers that we'll look at here in a second, it has continued to be very favorable for our portfolios. and sorry about that. So we're going to go ahead and look now, since we're running a little low on time. We'll switch over to look at, we'll just minimize this. Sorry for that delay. And what you're looking at here is the MAPDT. That's up $1,800 today on a $20,000 account, so a nice little 10% move we have for the MAPDT. The Delta 5 up 2,800. Delta B, those portfolios are really conservative. $400, nice 10% move for the dual day trader DS right here. We'll go ahead and bring over the Swinger DT. We're actually going to look at that in a second. Here's the Swinger DT up about 5,500. It has been today. This is a $30,000 portfolio, so very impressive portfolio. We're going to have a special on this portfolio actually. We look over here, we see the Delta DT itself up $2,300, so more conservative than the MAP DT right here. So a nice 10% move just for the morning, for this Friday morning, for that. But a very impressive move, for almost 20% for the Swinger DT, almost up $6,000, which will be a 20% move for the $30,000 account. Again. So that's the Swinger DT up $5,500. We're going to have a special on that, I believe. You may subscribe to that. Here's where we are. $54.90. That was a snapshot of the Swinger DT. The matte black up $4,500 today. $45.30 for the Delta 20. So a very impressive 18% move for the Swinger DT. And the triple threat trader. That's actually incorrect. 22.85. That should be the MAP DT. And so these two should be inverted. So that obviously is around 10% right there. So as mentioned, Swinger DT outperforming, and as usual, our outperformers do get the specials. We actually are going to have a couple specials because we had some problems with our reporting, so we had to just go back. We just got our reporting back for our MFX Lite, and just happened to be a banner day. Yesterday made 25% for our MFX Lite portfolio. That portfolio, as you've seen, has had a drawdown. Now is the time, if you want to take advantage and get involved in Forex trading, to get involved in our MFX Lite portfolio, or the MAFX, the $50,000 portfolio, up 30% in 2 days. Definitely looks like a bottom in that portfolio. We have had some clients interested in getting in after a drawdown, and those of you who are interested in buying after a drawdown, certainly is the time for the MAFX Lite or the MAFX portfolio. You can save $300 on that portfolio, as well as $300 on the Swinger DT if you're interested in either of those. And what you'll do is, these are 23-day returns as of this morning, so this should read 22. And very impressive gains we've seen for our portfolios as the ATR has rolled over. The dual day trader outstanding at 163% over the last 23 days, 125% for the triple threat, 130% for the MAP DT, over 107% for the Delta 5 portfolio, and the most diversified portfolio, the MAP Black, up an amazing, a staggering 94,281.25, 94.28%. So if you're interested in the Swinger DT or the MFX Lite, just go, they're actually on special, $1,500 for 3 months, and you can just go there. You have the Swinger DT. Go to the home page, MiniAnalyst.com, and you can click on Swinger DT or MAFX Lite there. All you'll have to do is click Add to Cart, the big yellow button, and enter promo code video. Go ahead and apply that, and your $1,500 turns into minus $300. Takes it off right there. We obviously have this dual day trader in there, so we don't really need that. And there you have $1,200 for the Swinger DT, and you can also subscribe to the MFX Lite, and you can actually take $300 off of both of them. Obviously, $1,200 for 3 months on a portfolio that makes $5,000 early on a Friday, and can make Swinger DT $23,000 over a 23-day period, is something you want to be involved in. If you have any questions, go to the website. Feel free to chat with us. And we hope you guys are having a great week.